Kicking it off now in April, what was the best movie you saw?
It's not my favorite movie of the year. It's not anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to see that again, but I will go with the drama.
Well, I do think that is one of my favorite movies of the year. It was a really hard movie to talk about that I didn't even do a review here on the podcast because it's kind of hard to mention without giving the spoiler.
And we both saw the spoiler before we saw the movie.
Yeah, the news story came out and I was like, man, I didn't want to know. But
Yeah.
I still think if you know going into it, it's still a good movie.
Yes, I loved that Alana Haim's character is actually maybe the worst character of the movie. Like, I don't think it's, and this isn't any spoiler, I don't think it's Zendaya's character. I think it is Alana Haim's character.
Which is funny. I feel like she is the modern villain when it comes to creating new characters that you just hate on screen every time they appear.
Yes.
I love movies that kind of split the audience where that is a movie that you go into, you either love it or you hate it.
Yes.
And at times you even feel bad enjoying it for the subject matter because it's nothing that I take lightly whatsoever, which I also think where we saw it at the Belcourt here in Nashville, the audience was a little like, even for me, like, oh, guys.
Too much laughter.
Yeah.
And I was like, I also thought I got crapped on by a bird before we went into the movie.
Yeah.
So
what happened?
It did impact. It was probably sap from a tree, but we were trying to buy lemonade from this kid's stand, and all of a sudden I just felt something on me, like near my eye and on my arm, and it was brown and it was questionable. But because I am basically an adult Girl Scout, I have everything in my purse, and so I just used like a shower wipe and called it a day.
I really do think it was sap because on my run yesterday, I ran under some trees and I saw it falling and it looked the exact same way.
It just, when something falls out of a tree on you and is like brown, your first thought isn't sap.
Yeah, it's bird poop.
Yeah, and then I didn't get to buy lemonade from the kid, and I actually felt the worst about that.
I've also seen some kids set up like that selling Pokemon cards. I gotta find those kids.
So that does sound like a scam in which you get thrown into a van, and that is how they'll get you. I don't know that that's legit. I kind of think they just have like a big adult come along and throw you in the van after.
What would be your thing? They're selling this on the side of the road. This is how they kidnap you. Mine is Pokemon cards.
Okay, well, is it like brand new some things?
Anything you could sell on the side of the road. Pokemon cards not the most conventional thing to sell on the side of the road, but I saw one kid doing it.
Mine was about to be dark. I was about to say iced coffee, but then they're gonna like lace it with things. And
different for women.
I don't think I'm buying anything on the side of the road.
Really? Didn't haven't we stopped for strawberries?
Did we?
Or did
on the
I
side
dream
of the
that?
road?
Or was that a movie? Nah, I think that was Oh Hey or Oh Hi.
That's Oh Hi.
That was a movie.
That's a movie.
You ever watch a movie and then think that was your own memory? That just happened to me. I was like, no, that one time we were going out. I was like, oh no, that was a movie.
We don't go out that many. That was like a road trip.
Dang, I really thought we bought fresh fruit on the side of the road, but that was a movie.
I bought peaches from the peach truck when they had the drive-through location here, but that's not on the side of the road. So I think I'm going to pass on buying anything on the side of the road as a woman.
Okay.
And again, there's that one. If that one listener is listening that hates how much I talk about being a woman and how things are hard, I'm sorry.
You should try being a woman.
You should try being a woman. Try it, sir.
For my best of the month, it goes to Super Mario Galaxy.
You did love it.
Out of everything in April, and we'll go through the entire list at the end of this, but that was the only movie I was really excited to go and see in theaters. Although I was excited for the drama because it was Robert Pattinson and Zendaya, not in the same way that I'm excited for a movie that I am part of a fandom and have been for a very long time. And even though those movies aren't the most complicated, not even I'm part of the demographic anymore. Like those movies aren't made for me anymore.
But I think they are.
I think they kind of are. I was just genuinely excited to go see that movie. That out of everything we saw, that was my favorite in theater experience. Even though I rated the drama higher, I just enjoyed even trying to get a Yoshi popcorn bucket before, which I knew they were going to be sold out. And then,
okay, my friend Mandy did offer to get you one.
At that point, I was like, you know what? I think spending almost $50 on a Yoshi popcorn bucket probably wasn't the best idea. It's kind of one of those things, if it's not in the moment, I'm over it.
The Stitch bucket's still worth it.
Yeah, which that whole weekend and seeing that movie twice, it enhanced that experience of going to see that and getting the popcorn bucket. Even though you had already got me the big one, getting that combo with the other...
With the like the cup with the lid and
yeah,
it's
it's
like
a part of the
world.
experience, and I still have that. So I feel like it's kind of my rule with collectibles too. Like I could easily go online and just order things off of like eBay, but it's not the same to me. I like the search and the hunt for it. That's more exciting to me than just owning the item.
See, I love the dopamine of buying an item, tracking it, and then it gets here.
Yeah, different experiences.
I didn't have any packages on the way, but don't worry. I fixed that. Got a couple on the way now.
But out of everything we saw in April, that was just my favorite experience, met with what I believe to be a movie that was better than the original one. So also would be excited if Glenn Powell got his own movie.
Yeah.
He did a Star Fox movie, but still no word on that.
I'd watch that.
All right. The worst movie you saw in April.
Easy. Was it The Outcome? Outcome? Whatever that Apple movie with
Outcome.
Keanu Reeves was. That's me watching it.
It felt bad from the beginning.
It started and I was like, oh, Apple, your shows are better than your movies. Stop making movies. I said it. Keep making shows. Your shows are phenomenal. They're great. I will wait a year to watch the seasons. Stop making movies.
There hasn't been one definitive Apple movie. I will say, I'm going to say this and I already know what you're going to say, but Coda is probably their best movie. One for Best Picture.
I'm looking right into the camera. Would you like to tell the people why
I watched it without you. But that is the best Apple movie.
I wouldn't know.
There hasn't been one that I feel has defined a platform. Anything that has made somebody want to buy a subscription. They have big stars. They have movies that get attention. They have Keanu Reeves, but they don't have any good movies that I would really recommend to people.
Does F1 count or no? Because it was in theaters, but it wasn't Apple.
I will only count the ones that went directly on.
That's what I was thinking.
Because even Eternity is now an app like Apple, but I don't really count that one because it came out in theaters. I mean, they're straight to platform movies that have been a hit.
That's what I was thinking. I was just confirming that we're on.
Yeah,
the
some
same
of those are like
ranking
partnerships, and it's like other studios involved too. But I'm talking just a straight up Apple movie. I don't know why they keep giving Mark Wahlberg movies. He's all on that
like a
platform way too much.
Contract with them.
Yeah, but what are we talking about? Oh yeah, your worst movie. I'm gonna leave that in. That was one of those things where I started going on another rant, and I was like, "Where did this even come from?" Oh yeah, the Keanu Reeves movie. The movie is basically, which is weird that they did another movie so soon after the George Clooney movie. He plays a fictionalized version of himself. Same thing.
But Jay Kelly was Netflix.
Yes.
So maybe like they were already
their version of it. Like, we got to get this out. And they got it out like maybe 6 months later. But he's at the risk of getting canceled. Much like Keanu Reeves, he's like the most like celebrity. He's won a couple of Oscars.
He was a kid star.
And then he gets blackmailed essentially. If he doesn't pay a bunch of money, somebody is going to release some footage of him doing something really incriminating. So he goes on an apology tour to try to find who was doing this. He's like, who in my life hates me? Let me go say, I'm sorry to everybody around me. And then maybe it can stop this video from coming out.
I also feel like when a movie's runtime is not that much longer than an HBO episode, I'm like, I kind of think they got to the cutting room and they like cut so much. And then they were like, well, we still have to put something out. It was like an hour and 24 minutes. That's like a Euphoria episode.
Yeah. And that's with credits too. So I think while some people think movies are getting longer and longer, I really don't think they are. And an indication of a movie being that short on runtime means that they probably didn't have a whole lot to say. And let's just get this thing out.
That's exactly how it felt.
It could have been like one episode of a show.
Movie could have been an email.
But that was your worst of the month. For my worst of the month, speaking of straight to streaming movies, I'm going to go with Thrash on Netflix, which was
not as bad as I expected.
I guess technically it is a disaster movie because you have a Category 5 hurricane coming towards a fictional town in South Carolina, and then all the waters that flood the town are filled with sharks. And now it's not the rising waters that you have to worry about. It is all the sharks that want to eat you.
It's the sharks in the rising waters.
So it was kind of like a modern day Jaws. They even used the iconic Jaws shot inside of the movie, which the level of acting in this was just wild that this is acceptable.
It was giving sci-fi.
Yeah, it was giving a straight to cable movie.
Did you ever watch movies on the Sci-Fi Channel?
Yeah, I did that.
It felt like like a disaster. It felt like Sharknado.
But it's not like the day after tomorrow coming out in theaters level of movie.
No, that movie can't be replicated.
Thrash, it's one of those movies you watch and it's so ridiculous that you kind of have a good time at because you didn't really set out to watch it with me. It's just kind of on in the background and it's so over the top and so ridiculous that it's kind of like watching a dumpster fire.
Well, and my best friend was in town when you watched it, and we like all got our coffee and just kind of sat on the couch. And then after 30 minutes, she and I were both like, "Why are we watching this with you? Like, this isn't even good."
Nope, not at all.
But it sucks you in.
Well, that was our best and worst of the month. We'll go through all the April movies now. We did start it out with the drama, which I gave a 4.5 out of 5. What would you give that?
3.75.
Pretty good. Super Mario Galaxy, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Curious to know what you would have given it.
I'm not rating it.
For outcome, I gave a 2.5 out of 5, and I feel that's a little bit generous.
1.
1?
1.
We finished it. It had some redeeming qualities towards the end of it.
I had ice cream to eat while I was watching it, and that's the only thing that redeemed that experience.
And then I saw Lee Cronin's The Mummy in theaters, and I sat front row, which some people were saying that I'm a psychopath for loving the front row.
I concur.
But it made me enjoy it more because I was
love that for you.
completely just surrounded by screen. I gave that one a 3.5 out of 5. Thrash, I gave the 2 out of 5. We saw Michael, which I ended up enjoying way more than I thought I was going to, being that I'm not a
Same.
Michael Jackson fan whatsoever.
Same.
I gave that one a 4 out of 5. What did you think of it?
3.5.
Did you like it?
I did. I love Coleman Domingo.
Yeah.
Put Coleman Domingo in anything, and I'll watch it.
Even as a villain, he's
Even
good.
as a villain with those scary gray-eyed contacts. I love Coleman Domingo.
I kind of forgot that it was him at times because I knew going into obviously he was in the movie, and then you kind of forget it once you see him because he looks so different with all. There was a lot of great prosthetics in this movie, and I did look up a lot of the things as far as like accuracy as far as to what really happened. There were some things that were embellished a little bit. Some characters
creative liberties.
Some characters who were meant or made out to be bigger parts of Michael Jackson's life than they actually were. Like Miles Teller's lawyer in the movie, who he's like, that's my guy. Apparently in real life, they weren't, I guess they kind of had a falling out and he didn't really have as much of an impact as they made it seem in the movie.
What about his driver, Billy?
He was, yeah.
Okay.
I saw the real picture of him. His head of security looked exactly like him.
Okay.
But as far as like Miles Teller's character, I think it was because like the guy owned some part of his like estate or had some kind of and wrote that part to be bigger than it was. So that's kind of weird when you think about it.
Interesting.
But overall, I enjoyed that. I historically don't like music biopics, but I think of the ones we've seen recently, like Elvis, meh. A Complete Unknown, better. Bruce Springsteen movie, pretty boring.
Which, like, when I look back, I'm like, it's kind of tragic to make a movie about Bruce Springsteen boring. Because Bruce Springsteen is not a boring person, and his career is not boring, and his accomplishments are not boring. But how did you make a movie that was so boring?
There was just no story in it. What I liked about Michael is it had a beginning, middle, and end. It also had a villain. So there was that constant friction of Michael Jackson and his dad. That was the overall theme of the movie, the overall, here's what this story is about. Bruce Springsteen movie, there's no real plot.
No.
There was some things that he went through that was sad. I didn't know about him. But overall, there wasn't any kind of action or tension throughout the movie that made it feel like, okay, I learned something about him after watching this. A few songs here and there, and that was it. Not even really a whole lot of performances, which I liked about Michael Jackson. They didn't have like specific songs at every single point of the movie. Really just a big performance at the end. Sometimes just too much music.
Yeah. If I wanted that much, I'd watch like a concert documentary, or I'd watch a concert on YouTube.
Oh, which I do want to see the Billie Eilish concert because
I do
James
wanna see
Cameron directed it. I'm not even the biggest fan of her music, but if James Cameron directs your concert movie, that's crazy.
Yeah, I want to see that one as well.
End it with some movie questions.
Yes.
We have 5 movie questions to finish out the episode.
What's your Marvel hot take?
My Marvel hot take is that The Incredible Hulk is the best movie of the MCU Phase 1.
Okay.
The best story structure, having the best hero, which I still think the Incredible Hulk is the strongest and best Avenger. His movies have just not been well received. I thought Edward Norton did a really great job as Bruce Banner. So I think it has what I love best about both sides of the character. Great Bruce Banner, great Hulk. And now I just don't like that Mark Ruffalo's Incredible Hulk is so comical and not as intense. I think it's the best movie in the MCU Phase 1.
All right. I
Next
don't think I have a hot take, so I won't answer that one. What's a remake that's better than the original?
I think The Parent Trap, which I remember watching the original Parent Trap from 1961.
That's a great one.
I had a music teacher in elementary school who she's like, we're going to watch The Parent Trap today. And we were all excited. And
She put on the original.
and then it was the original Parent Trap in black and white. I'm like, who does this?
Sounds like something Eddie would enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't tell him I said that.
Yeah, that is easily better than the original.
I'm going to go Cheaper by the Dozen.
I forgot about that being a remake.
What was the original year? I don't even remember.
I'm also going to assume the 60s.
1950.
Oh my gosh, that is an old movie. Yeah, both of those movies were greatly improved in the remakes.
We rewatched both of those a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Cheaper by the Dozen. They stand the test of time.
I like them both.
I love when Steve Martin does the funeral for Beans the frog. He hipped and he hopped. He loved to hip hop. It's a quotable movie. It's great. Okay, next question. Movie that made you cry unexpectedly.
Blue Beetle, and we saw it twice in theaters, and it got me both times.
And you've watched it so many times since.
And even though the scene itself is sad, I wasn't expecting that in a DC superhero movie, where once it hit, I was like, why am I getting so emotional right now? And I was like, surely by the time we go watch it again, take my mom to go see it, I won't feel the exact same way. But no, it hit me again. Even rewatched it, I think, earlier this year. Still hit me.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I know this is so weird. I don't cry at movies. I cry at TikToks about animals and elderly people.
It
and
is
like
really
nice things.
It is really hard for a movie to make me cry.
I just don't really cry at movies. And I don't know why, but yeah, I'll cry at like 7 TikToks in a row and you'll look over and you're like, are you good? And I'm like, this puppy got adopted from the side of the road.
Another one that kind of got me was My Old Ass with Aubrey Plaza. There's a moment in that one that's like,
yeah.
oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Not full on tears, but
I mean, Up.
Yeah. Also
Didn't we
saw
all
that one
cry?
twice in theaters.
Okay, a movie you walked out of.
Strays, which was the they were animated-ish, but it was celebrities doing voices to dogs, and it was really crude.
When we describe the premise, people are probably like, and you thought that was going to be good? It was a summer movie.
Will Ferrell was in it.
We'll go see anything in the summer because it's free AC.
I think that was the week that we didn't have AC.
Probably.
And we still left during that one.
Mine would be, I've told this story before. I may or may not have taken my grandma to see Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, and we left.
We also left during Babylon.
We did leave during Babylon.
There was a big gross scene, and we didn't see the movie getting any better. Some people love that movie. I still see it pop up, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the Regal Unlimited is if we don't like a movie, we're like, yeah, I'm out.
After 20 minutes, I'm like, I just don't see this getting any better. Let's save us some time.
All right, your celebrity crush growing up.
Final question. I think if it's movie related, it's Emma Watson because of Harry Potter, and I was the same age as all of them growing up. So it was kind of like I went to school with them.
Yeah.
So I think easily Emma Watson. If it's TV shows, it was Miley Cyrus because of Hannah Montana. Also about the same age.
Mine is so easy. It is Channing Tatum and Step Up. Like, do I need to say more? I have no more to say because that it was my favorite movie.
Channing Tatum Step Up or Channing Tatum now as an adult?
Channing Tatum Step Up. Which I was just texting a friend earlier. The concept of Zoe Kravitz being engaged to Channing Tatum a year and a half ago and now being engaged to Harry Styles, like my brain, it's not computing to me.
I guess I never saw Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum out in public that much that I kind of forgot, or it's been that long.
Yeah, I think it's just been that long. They were always out in public together.
Because I've seen so much of Zoe Kravitz and Harry Styles out.
Because it's only been 8 months.
Yeah, maybe.
And they're apparently engaged. Like the concept of Harry Styles getting down on a knee and asking Zoe Kravitz to marry him, like it could fry my brain right now.
Well, there you go. Anything else?
No, that's all I got in me.